Welcome back to the Daughters of the Moon podcast. We're grateful that you can join us for another week.
We sure are.
And today we're very excited. We have Adria Estribou. Adria is a conscious channel, medium, shaman, animal communicator, and intuitive guide. She's the author of 3 books: Angel Insights for Unprecedented Times, Why Did Lemuria Fall, and Slip Through the Keyhole. Channeled messages appear monthly in the Sedona Journal of Emergence. So welcome, Adria. It's really nice to have you on our podcast.
You
I'm
bet.
delighted to be here. Happy to meet you both.
Yes. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got started in your journey?
Sure. I was reflecting on that this morning and realized as the further I go down this journey, the more I realize how many different lifetimes are interwoven here into this current story. So, in terms of this life story, I started getting really passionate about meditation and spiritual path work when I was 18. So I went off to India and lived in an ashram and um, was a meditation and breathwork teacher for a while. And the path has just evolved, but in terms of being a channel for vocal sound and now angels and sometimes Lemurians and other beings, that really started in 2011 for me when that opened up for me, and I was so delighted because I had been really searching for a way to serve. I knew I was here for something, but it wasn't until some decades of meditation that became clear. So delighted to feel in the clarity of purpose now.
Yes,
Beautiful.
absolutely. And it is always that. So how did the channeling come to you? Did it just kind of through your meditations, did you start hearing the angels and hearing the other beings then?
I was actually in a retreat. It was a 12-day retreat for learning about sound healing. And in one of the small breakout group exercises, when we were practicing toning through our voice, instead of the vowel sounds we were supposed to be practicing, all these other sounds came out. So, I'm still trying to understand. It's hard for the mind to even understand what that is. But after a few years of sound healing through vocal channeling with no words, I could tell that messages wanted to come through. So I started to explore that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's really interesting because I think a lot of people, it just kind of suddenly shows up out of the blue and it's like, hello. And I don't know about you, but I know sometimes when I hear that a voice, it's like, am I going insane or am I actually channeling something from, the higher realm? So did you
Yes.
feel the same way or?
Well, mostly at the time, I could tell that messages wanted to come through, but the sound healing is so deeply meditative. People almost go into sort of a trance or journey state. And I thought, well, I don't want to just start speaking in the middle of this. It didn't seem so they turn into be two separate kinds of sessions. I don't try to speak during the sound healing, which is good. And then the angels do a lot of talking at other times.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, sheesh, quiet. Yeah.
Well, I think that's really interesting. And so you do this as a practice then? You offer these services?
I do. That's my full-time existence these days. So the angels come through in workshop settings and also one-on-one, and the sound healing is more individual, although I do have one recording and might do more in the future. And since I'm in Sedona, the land is also part of it, so I sometimes do sound on the land with people.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to be in Sedona one time, and that was a very interesting because the energy there is just so different.
It is. Through that area, it's beautiful.
Yes, it's like nowhere on earth. It's a very unique place. Yeah.
It really is. And so do you find that being in Sedona then with these energies, do you feel like that helps you along on your path of where you're going?
Absolutely. And it's also can be overwhelming at times. Sometimes it's felt like a bit too much. But it's almost like another being, or certainly another energy. Different places of it's in Sedona, the land itself, or the beings and the energy of the land come in as another participant in the healing or the journey. It's yeah, I've never experienced that anywhere else. It's really incredible.
So do you have some spots in Sedona that are like you feel more magical or more connected to than other spots there?
I do, but the funny thing is, I'm also aware, even though it's not really a huge place in terms of square miles, that there are so many places I have not discovered and probably won't in my lifetime, because the energies that come in here, there's such a variety. Uh, um, Egyptian, galactic, Native American. And not just one Native American lineage. There were several over the centuries who lived and did ceremony. They didn't live here, actually. This was a sacred place. They only came for ceremony.
Right.
So, and that's just a few of the different energies, the different land energies as well. So I go to where I feel called, and I do have my favorite spots, but there are just there's so much here.
Beautiful. That's great.
Yeah, there really is. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say we went to Lilydale, New York, and it was like that all over the place as you walked around. The energies were different all over the place. It was just a beautiful experience.
Yeah.
Been to Sedona, have you?
Yeah, been
Okay.
through Sedona.
Yeah, it was interesting because we went down to one where there was supposed to be a vortex because we were close to there. So I was like, please, can we go to Sedona? It's on my bucket list. And just the way the trees were, and it was like, as you're walking down the path, it's like these trees and the water running and everything is almost like it's talking to you. So it was really, like you said, a little bit overwhelming, but very, very neat experience to have. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, the trees are very alive here too. Even the ones that are apparently dead. Have been struck by lightning or something, and they carry that lightning energy. Or if you're in a vortex spot, you can often see trees that are growing, the branches and the trunk, in corkscrew, spirals, which is not the natural pattern for the junipers or other trees around here. They're usually straight trees, so you can tell when you're on an energy spot. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is. I saw on your website you talk about new earth energies. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, that's my favorite topic.
Perfect.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So even I'd say being very sensitive and having many mystical and magical experiences over decades of meditations and retreats and all of that. When we hit about 2017, it was so palpable to me that something on Earth had shifted so dramatically. And since then, there have been more openings and more layers, and I assume there will be more, just recently we had the dawning of the age of Aquarius in terms of the astrology, and that's another significant piece of this. And I've been feeling this open up since 2017, and then working with the angels and teaching people, okay, well, what do we do with this? We can feel that it's different, but what is it? And what are working on a book right now called Operating Manual for New Earth, which is angel channelings and my own anecdotes of applying what they teach. And how do we, in a very fun and playful way, how do we use this new energies or explore them or notice how much more powerful we are in different ways now and how much more free? And so to me, it's a very real thing. I don't get into so much the technical ways of describing things. For me and with the angels, it just tends to be more practical. How do you apply this in your life? You have bills due, or you want new spiritual skills to come online, or new ways of perception, or you want to practice telepathy and you want to meet galactic beings. Well, how do you go about it?
So how do you go about it? Can you give us some insight and some of their followers some insights on that?
Yeah, I feel like I want to turn this over to the angels for a minute, if that's all right.
Absolutely.
So I'm a conscious channel of Ariel and Raphael, and they'll introduce themselves, whoever comes through. This is Angel Raphael. Yeah, so the most important thing we'd say is to know that you have choice. So as you are looking at your new freedom, it's about largely what you want, not so much about destiny any longer or what the world is calling you. That each of you who are sensitive and intentional have been working on alignment in this lifetime with how can you be in service, or how can you reach your highest vibration, whatever it was for you. And that is still the case. And now you have this immense freedom to add or move and grow in all directions. So have that inkling, that intent to move in some direction, and certainly the angelic will support you, but also your own energies are much more free and online than they ever have been. So just that intent will move you towards your goal and what you seek. This is Adria. Yeah, what I notice is the word unlimited comes up a lot from the angels, and I begun to really, really imbibe and feel that from myself. So yeah, you don't have to trust anyone else who says this time is about this or that, or here's exactly what's coming through. It's up to you. It's unlimited. You choose.
Absolutely. And that's so true. And I think that was such an important message about the intention, because I think every day when we get up, we decide how we are going to go forth into our day and into the world and show up to serve and to be. And so with that intention, I feel like, we set that for our path.
We do. We really do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that you said each day too, because one of the hallmarks of New Earth for me is that time is really different, and it's almost pressing us into be very, very present. That's a teaching we've probably all heard in meditation at some point or another, be present. But it's taken on a whole new meaning for me, because the ability to kind of see the horizon of the future or plan in a linear way, it's just not there anymore. It doesn't work. So, and I used to be very skilled at those things. I did event planning. But I've always been the spacey being that didn't know how to plan. No, I have those skills, but they just don't work anymore.
That's true.
So picking a bite-sized thing, like what do I want to focus on today or right now, this hour, I'd say is a really helpful clue, rather than thinking, well, what do I want to develop in the next 10 years? No, right now, today, what do you want to play with in the energies, and just do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I find, like, I do a grateful journal. So I find that gives me the gratitude and makes me really center into what I am grateful for in the moment. But often throughout the day, if you see something, like I was driving home the other day, of course, we're taping this early, so just people know. So when it airs, that they're not like, what do you mean there's a full moon? But I was driving home, and on one side, the sun was setting, and on the other side, you could see the moon. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am just so grateful to be witness to such a beautiful experience right now.
That every day, every single day is a blessing. But yeah, the full moon this time was beautiful.
Yeah.
I agree.
So do you get energies from the moon as well to help you shift into these new energies and things like that as well?
I do. I'm not necessarily as aware of that. Like, again, last night for me, I really felt it and I knew it was the moon, but I sometimes might feel a strong energy and not be so aware that, oh, it's because it's the full moon today. But absolutely, I feel those energies. And there's also a lot going on with the sun these days, with even measurable, solar flare activity. And I acutely feel that. I some days will actually not be able to get out of bed because I'm so sick with all of the energies coming in with the sun. And I'll find out later, oh yeah, it was an off the charts day. So the integration of a lot of these energies, I mean, it is magical and off the charts great. It also is a huge physical adaptation. So if any of you are feeling physically unwell or like this is just a lot, it is. We are essentially becoming a new species. And evolution is great to study in the history books, but it's like, wow, we're really energetically becoming different beings. The DNA, everything, the ancestral trauma is being cleared. We're rewriting the story of what are humans and what can we do now. And that has a physical impact. So some days it's rough.
So is there anything that people can do then to help them when these energies are so strong, these solar flares are up, and as they're kind of melding into what, the shift in our DNA and things like that? Is there things people can do?
Yeah, let's ask the angels for that. This is Angel Raphael. Yes, so there's not one blanket answer here, as you can imagine, because the energies may be, they are very fluid and they may be coming from different directions on different hours. But to understand I am an energetic being and I am fluid, we would say will help quite a lot. So you're not then, if you're trying to hold on to what used to feel like a stable state, like health for a reference point that you knew a year ago or an hour ago, then the trauma of a certain raise and vibration, it feels like trauma because it's different than what you're holding on to as your experience of health. So when there is a nausea or a feeling of spaciousness that's a little hard to hold on to, understand that you're a fluid being and you're a conscious being. Even your cells are conscious. So you are adapting well. There's nothing you have to force here. But especially we would say don't hold on to, cling to a structural or a reference point from the past in terms of trying to ground or in terms of understanding who you are as a sentient, healthy being. So that we would say as a general advice will help them most to allow and relax into, oh, this is change. Okay. But also I have a guidance team. I have energies which are supporting change. And my body itself is intelligent and knows how to change. This is Adria. Yeah, I definitely have experienced both ways, trying to cling to, I just want to not feel this, and just allowing it to go, and then things can expand and move into um, more of what they need to.
Yeah, I think that was a
Yeah.
really good message
Really
because,
good message, yes.
we are very fluid, and I think, we need to kind of go with the flow and allow things to happen for us because we're ever changing.
That is so true, and I've noticed that a lot. Like, I'm a little more mature than both of you. But I noticed over the years, when you sit back and you think about how much you've changed, how things come to you differently from when they did before, and how your instrument, what you're going to be doing. So it's really interesting because sometimes it feels so easy that you question it. It's like, well,
Yes.
and you shouldn't really question it, but you do question it because you go, yeah, that came really quickly, right? And so, yeah, it just seems like you just keep moving up, moving up, moving up as we go along here, and it's beautiful. Like it comes so fast now,
Yes.
Like I noticed with you when you go into trance, you communicate so quickly. It's really admirable. I like it a lot. Beautiful. Your angels are right there.
Thank you. Yeah, it is easy. It is fast and sometimes shockingly so. So as you play with the new earth energies and I want to explore myself in this new direction or I want to bring in this new circumstance or person in my life, it can be shocking how fast now it comes through because our relationship with time is different. Again,
It's
time used to be kind of linear and structured, and there still is time, sort of as a flavor. We can move it around quite a lot. So
Yeah.
things don't have to take an hour or a year or 20 years. If you want something, it may come in much faster than your mind thinks is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
accepting it, allowing it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, I find like I just find things shifting so much quicker now for myself. And it's like these ideas and things you've been wrestling with and it's just like an overnight thing. Like, and for me, one of the things was I was contemplating about alcohol. And so it was like one morning I got up and I was like, yeah, you know what? I just think I don't know that that's for me anymore. And it was funny because it shifted something in me. And then I also at the same time bit my fingernails. And the next day it was like I woke up and I was like, yeah, okay, I guess I'm not gonna do that anymore. So and it's funny because I've wrestled my whole life with it, right? But it's just like that energy shift in me was like, okay, you're listening now. Let's get you on this.
Acceptance,
right?
yep, you betcha. Yeah, paying attention.
So do you find it's things like that as well? Like there's these shifts with people that just this isn't good for my body, this isn't healthy for my mind, and so we're just going to shift you out of that and into this new energy to lead you down a different path.
Yeah, in fact, one of my funnest ones, I think we could do together because it's quick if that feels right, is bringing people into their heart space and recognizing that they're, oh, how powerful we all are from there. And once you feel it, it's like, oh, I mean, this my favorite thing is people come in to see me and then they're like, oh, okay, I got this.
Yeah.
You don't have to study. I mean, those of us who've been on the path for a while may be a little jealous sometimes because it took us years and now it feels like for everyone, regardless of how much practice you've done, it's just so instantly available now. So, um, yeah, I would just want to do a little practice with people so they
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That'd be great.
can shift in their own life right now because we don't want it. And just to come into awareness of your heart space. So the energetic heart is near where the heart organ is, but it's also centered, and it creates this huge electromagnetic field. So this is something even science will show us. So it's a powerful center. And I just want to bring your awareness there, whether your eyes are open or closed. And from here is where your creation happens. So if you're going to make a wish or move in a direction, just drop your energy here into the heart. This is in New Earth now, and you now is where your command center is. So right now, just think of something that you want, and it could be a circumstance or an object or something you want to drop in yourself or something you want to move into. Just think of something big or small that you want. And ask your heart to join with you in this. Okay, heart, let's do this. You can say it silently or out loud. Just really articulate for yourself, I want this. And as you bring your awareness back to the room you're in, this is a one-step creation process. You just want what you want. And essentially now there's no barrier to that. Time, money, age, anything you can think of. It's really you're in the director seat now. So what you say to the universe is what is. And it's really that simple and profound.
That's amazing. Well, thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
and doing that for people because I think that's so important. And like for myself, I could really feel that energy coming in and the possibilities, I think would be, it was like, yeah, this can be like, you've wrestled with this for so long. It was about health, but
Yeah.
it's like there's that new hope, that blooming of possibility
Yep.
to make it happen. So
Yeah.
for me, it was really beautiful. But, so thank
Awesome.
you for sharing
Yes,
that.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I just and it's really funny because like going back to intention and tapping into your heart space, I think that that's really how we move forward with that. And like you said, limiting ourselves by all these labels, I guess I would, you know, age, or economic state, or whatever. We always put these self-limiting things on ourselves by labeling those. And I think when we tap into that heart space, we remove some of those things and make that possibility to be able to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
Yeah, it's up to us now. It's like no one else gets to decide what we're capable of or what we want.
Exactly.
true.
Yeah,
What's gonna
that's so
happen.
true.
Yeah. I was doing the same thing with my memory, okay, because you have this thing where you start maturing in life and people start saying, do you remember this? And you go, no. But I think I was questioning it so much. And what I have found now is just accept what's being given to me. It's not about what the others are saying to you, sort of thing. It's because you're downloading so much all the time that your memory is trying to keep up with everything that's in front of you. And there's so much there that I stopped questioning, because I was questioning all the time. Am I getting dementia? Am I, like all those different things, right? You start thinking that when you get into your 70s and stuff. Silly, but we do. I should say I did. And so now what I'm doing is accepting it on a different level where I'm going, no, I don't have to have all the other messages anymore. I don't have to keep that. I can just keep downloading what's necessary for every moment of every day as I'm going on with it, and stop worrying about that other stuff. And it's working. So and that comes out bringing it into my heart, which you just did for me. Thank you. So it just confirms it with me.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of useful if we can forget a lot of what we think we know about the world. Well, I tried this 10 years ago, or, I know I'm not good at this. It's pretty useful if we could forget that because it's up to us. If that's our belief system, we can keep perpetuating it or we can change it.
Yes.
Yeah, when you were
absolutely.
talking, it was really funny because I saw like a filing cabinet. I'm a very, very,
She is
I'm a
organized.
Capricorn, so I'm very, that organized. But I saw this filing cabinet and it was like chucking out all the things, like doing a purge of all the things that it doesn't really matter if you hold on to that memory or not, because what use does it have for
Exactly.
where you're traveling?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
Want to be at the high point of where we are today. So if we keep ourselves loaded down with all the other stuff from the past, we're not really generating the newness to come into us,
Yeah.
right? Every day as we should be. So yeah, very interesting.
mhm.
I like your filing cabinet.
Thank you.
And also on a deeper level, now my understanding from the angels is part of what we've been going through in the last, let's say, 7 years, give or take, is the clearing of ancestral trauma. So many of us have been aware that we carry impressions that are not even from our different lifetimes, they're from our ancestors. And some of that has gotten really heavy. So in this sort of rewrite of, well, what could humanity be? How could we upgrade our experience? There was a collective decision made to drop that ancestral trauma because it's no longer kind of helping us. It's became too heavy.
Sure.
So a lot of us have been doing very deep clearing, but not necessarily that we went to someone who specializes in that. It's just happening because as a collective, we made that decision. So we also don't have to carry, that, let's say, Holocaust or some traumatic thing from our ancestors we can remember it. We can honor or decide not to do that again. You know, there are ways that'll come up at the right moments when we need it, but we don't have to physically carry that trauma around, which I think is really good news.
That is good
Very good
news.
news.
And I think it's good because we need to purge those things because they don't even work with our energy anymore, right? I think we grow so much that yeah, it's just good to, so you're not getting dementia, you're just purging.
That's what I decided with myself is like, okay, I'm cool with all of this, you know, quit worrying so much is the other thing, right? Like just move on with each day, accept it for what it is, and you'll generate what you need to know and what you need to do for the day.
Yeah,
So that's okay.
absolutely. So if there was a message that you want to leave with the followers, something that you, a piece of advice or just a message that you think is important to get out, what would that be?
What comes up is love. So the biggest tool that I've found in the last few years, one is loving myself in whatever, so we've talked about physical challenges and sometimes they're emotional, and just absolutely just loving myself in that. Not conditional on me changing or fixing, just right in the mess of it, just loving myself. And love, I have also found, is just the biggest tool for protection and growth. And so something as a challenge point or a growth point, just bring in your own love is so powerful.
It's very true.
Your own love for yourself and use it.
I
Very
love
true.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
very
love that
true.
because I think that's such an important message because loving yourself when you said like kind of like in the mess of it of just who I am right now with all the chaos and I think you're right. That's so important because I think we get so lost in I'll love myself when.
Yeah. Don't
And
wait.
if we can just love ourselves now as we are, it just creates so many opportunities for us to, these things to come to us that we want and to, like you were doing, tapping into your heart space. I mean, that's
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful
Yeah.
message. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Me too.
So can you tell everybody where they can find you?
Yeah, so my website's a little hard to spell, so I'll give to you, and maybe it'll be up on the podcast, but it's my name, adriaestribou.love. And a shorter way, maybe easier to spell, is wingsound.com. So that will also forward. And the Instagram and YouTube is at Adria Estribou. So ADRIAESTRIBOU.
Perfect. And I will put all of those into our show notes for everybody. So
Thank
they'll be able to find you. So we appreciate you so much coming on and channeling the angels for us and the messages that you've given us and that heart space exercise that people can do. Like we really appreciate that because I think that just shows people that you can do these things by yourself and just honor who you are in the moment that you're in and it doesn't have to be complicated.
No, it's been a beautiful experience that we've shared here as well. And I thank you too for that, putting that into our heart as well, that we can relax in our day and just enjoy the moments.
Yes, it's my joy to share that with you.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and being our guest and we hope you come back again another time
We
when
sure
you
do.
when you do your next book or
My
anytime
pleasure.
at all.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you back on.
Yeah,
So,
please do.
Thank you so
Please do.
much.
okay. Well, thank you. And everybody else, tune in next week.
You betcha.